601 session. Chief Bill.
Leaders lead. It's what they do. Leaders lead. They don't wait for someone to ask them to take charge and make things happen. Leaders find something that needs done, and they do it, regardless as to whether or not anyone will notice. There's no setback or obstacle that can't be overcome when a leader is around. They adapt. They overcome. It's what they do. Leaders lead. While some leaders are found with rank on their collar or shoulder, most wear no special insignia. There's no material in this world that imparts special traits, and brass, silver, or gold is no exception. Just as a wedding band on your finger does not make you an ideal spouse, pinning rank insignia or chevrons on your collar does not make you a leader. The fact of the matter is, leaders lead. The debate has been ongoing forever. Are leaders born or are leaders made? I'll certainly admit I'm no expert, but I do believe born leaders exist. These leaders have a head start because of innate characteristics, and they improve over time to set the bar high for others to follow. They are the exception. These people aren't easy to find, but they're readily identifiable. They exude charisma and competence. They lead because that's what a leader does. At the opposite end of the spectrum are those people that no matter how much time and effort is poured into them, regardless of how hard they try, they will never be leaders. These people are also hard to find, but they're also really easy to identify. I'm a firm believer in the Pareto principle, or the 80-20 rule, and I think it applies to this debate. About 10% of humankind are the natural born leaders, and 10% fall into the incapable of leading category. The remaining 80% of us, we have to put in work. We weren't blessed with the ability to simply lead because we know nothing else. But we weren't cursed with the inability to do so either. We need development. We need to be forged in trials and to fail in order to learn from our mistakes. We need guidance and direction to evolve. With proper care, focus, and perseverance, we lead. It's what we do. I've been a long-time naysayer of the leadership training industry. I've seen far too many people, quite frankly, that were probably in the bottom 10% of the leadership category that I was speaking of, return from a leadership course and place their "I managed to breathe" certificate or plaque in a prominent area in their office or at home on their wall, only to fail to apply even a small fraction of the material they paid to receive. In some form or fashion, it's not all their fault, because most leadership training programs are far too theoretical to apply in reality. They lack actionable material or principles and serve to generate currency for the presenter and another certificate or plaque for the "I love me." I'll admit it, my cynicism toward the leadership training industry extended toward the very course we're here to celebrate today. My chief of police was the very first person from the Plainfield Police Department to come through this academy, and he did so last year. At the time, he was still my boss, but he was a captain. Even while he was in the middle of his training, he was adamant that I was going to be next. He's that kind of guy. I immediately provided him with all kinds of excuses and reasons why I shouldn't go. Then, the powers that be decided to make him the chief. And then he dragged me from my happy home as a patrol lieutenant, threw me into an office, and made me go to a bunch of meetings as a deputy chief. He mentioned that the next IMPD Leadership Academy was starting soon and suggested that I submit an interagency training request to attend. The fact of the matter is, I still haven't done that. My skepticism was on high. He tells me that the spring session was going to be full and I would have to wait until the fall. I was pretty relieved at that point. About 2 weeks later, an email from some dude named Chad Mann appears in my inbox, telling me to report to some sort of pre-training event. I reinitiated my excuses and gave all the reasons why I was too busy to go, but the chief insisted, so I went. My skepticism was on high as I went into that first week of training this past February. I remember thinking about all the things that I wasn't going to get done while I was there, and how much time I was going to have to spend to get caught up on all of those things. I remember thinking, I'll just do whatever I have to do to get through this week, and I'll surely figure out a reason why I won't come anymore after that. I mean, they really expected us to type papers and do group work and stuff, and who's got time for that kind of stuff? But at some point during that first week, I started to feel different. As the week drew to a close, I really started to appreciate all the hard work and dedication that the program required of the people who actually created it. The attention to detail was very evident. Maybe this course was a little different. The first capstone event was the turning point for me. If Jerry Baker and the other presenters believed so much in the program that they were willing to relive such a horrible and tragic event, if IMPD was willing to peel back the layers and expose some of their shortcomings, I should probably do something to get everything I could out of it. I started to look forward to week 2, which led to me looking forward to weeks 3 and 4. I was still falling behind my tasks and responsibilities at work while I was gone, but I realized that they'd still be there on Monday when I got back. I understood that I actually couldn't afford not to be in that classroom. You see, because I'm one of those 80%, like I discussed earlier. I don't possess any innate capabilities, and as most of the people who got to know me over the past 4 weeks can attest, I'm certainly not dripping with charisma. The course we're celebrating today is unique in the leadership training area. Its requirements aren't simply to be present, fog a mirror, and exist. It enveloped everything I found the other courses to be lacking. It pushed for self-awareness. It challenged my sense of comfort. It provided logical and actionable tasks that could be implemented to improve my performance and the performance of my agency. It required effort, and it provoked thought. It was very evident that a good deal of thought and an unprecedented amount of heart and soul was poured into the material we received. As an outsider, I'm very humbled by the willingness of IMPD as an organization to bear it all for the sake of learning and development. I want to thank each of you that had a role in the development and delivery of our experience. While an impressive amount of information was presented to us through our formal instruction, this course also provided us with the opportunity to interact and learn from each other. As the weeks progressed, these sidebar conversations evolved from casual networking into conversations rooted in genuine friendship. I would like to thank Mayor Joe Hogsett, the other elected officials that are present here today, the chiefs, the sheriffs, the administrators, and more importantly, our family and friends that are here to support your graduates and this program. As more and more of us attend, our public safety organizations will improve in ways that were otherwise unimaginable. Your support and presence are greatly appreciated. I would especially like to thank Chief Jared McGee, you might want to write this down because you'll probably never hear it, for insisting that I come to this academy and for taking care of all the things that I was supposed to be getting done while I was away. Our weeks in this course meant that our home lives and schedules were in flux, and unfortunately this abnormality is pretty normal in a public safety family. Our busy Leadership Academy schedule meant that my wonderful wife, Amy, had to essentially become a single parent while I was away, or typing Chad's assignments. I want to thank you, Amy, and all the others in the room with us that always step up to keep things running while we dedicate our time elsewhere. In many ways, your job is far more difficult than ours. I'll close with a challenge for everyone who has graduated today. Don't simply place the course materials on a shelf and hang your certificate on that I love me wall. Apply the unrelenting, constant pressure necessary to lead in your own agencies. Initiate and innovate. Set the standard and lead. It's what leaders do.